But this time, last year, at Emily's Grand Assembly, where all the officers of the Outgoing Octopi Grand family were elected or appointed. Then, we all packed our bags for Oklahoma as we headed off to the 2022 Supreme Sessions. Junior past Grand Worthy Advisor Emily was our Supreme Service, and she did a phenomenal job. We were asked by California Radio to help with the girls' luncheon, where the great churro incident occurred. Plus, Devin, our Grand Rep of Oklahoma at the time, got to carry in our state flags with Lily Beth. A short while later, we were packing our cars again, but this time with camping supplies. It was time for Dream Camp. Here, we spent our time in the 100-acre woods with Kendra, Christopher Robin, Winnie the Pooh, and all their friends. Plus, we celebrated Rainbow's 100th birthday with our day play. All anyone could hear was Team Indigo chanting, "Indigo! Indigo!" Our first big fundraiser for Concern for Animals was right around the corner. You'll remember it because I got you. The color-block sky was filled with ashes from the fire, but luckily we were pretty visible because of our bright orange shirts, a reference to my famous bright orange pumpkin car Prius. We raised $5,379.98 for Concern for Animals. With the color walk done, it was time for OB season to start. We visited each of the districts in our jurisdiction. Along the way, we had fun, made memories, and learned more about what the grand year would entail. If there wasn't an OB, it was a retreat weekend. Grand officers went over rules, expectations, the boring stuff. They even learned how to clean their super nasty wiglets. Our pages talked about membership. You remember that, right, Ollie? You were there. The JREX had an awesome time at Dream Camp, learning about self-defense, art maintenance, and so much more. If you're wondering, there's a fly. While all of this was happening, I also had fall Grand Worthy Advisor visits to attend. I visited every assembly in our district, and we talked about the jurisdictional programs. We laughed, we had serious conversations, but most importantly, we followed the traditions of Grand Worthy Advisor visits, taking way longer than they were supposed to. 10 minutes? Try 30. Of course, we also had the gala. This grand year, it was Western League, and we raised a ton of money for the Grand Assembly programs. As we reached the end of the 2022 calendar year, we still had one more thing left to do. The Grand Officer Page Christmas party, of course. We went to Zoo Lights, and by the time we got back to the lodge, a hot cocoa bar was waiting for us. We learned the country grand song, and we took a lot of really bad selfies. 2023 finally came around, but the grand year wasn't even close to done yet. Regional ritual competitions were starting to be held. Plus, it was time for the GWAs. Beautiful dresses, speeches, and receptions. All of the grand officers were amazing. Then, of course, there's March. It's the best month of the grand year because it's finally time for the spring retreat. Pages were assigned to their grand officer groups, which meant it was time for us to really start preparing for Grand Assembly. Grand Worthy Advisor visits also started again. During our spring visits, I took the time to visit as many assemblies as possible to discuss service in our jurisdiction. At the end of every visit, we wrote a little note to Mrs. Downing. My personal favorite note was from Fort Orchard. It read, "Please give me CPR from Floor Slug and Halo." Then, the apocalypse of packing hit my house. First was Amaranth Grand Court and DUI Convention. At this point, my suitcase was working overtime. Next in the packing apocalypse was California Grand Assembly, where we watched GWA City's Weekend on Broadway and was told by their director of grand officers to scream louder. Can you imagine thinking Washington, Idaho was quiet? Spring was also full of membership and leadership games. You could tell we were starting to get tired because I forgot Then came the second most stressful event of my life, the WAR. It was spacey, mostly because I'm a spacey kid. The grand choir dresses were revealed, and Chipotle was an hour late because the delivery people forgot to bring utensils and plates. However, it gave me a ton of time to talk with all of my favorite people in the jurisdiction. It was time for a new edition of the Packing Apocalypse. A group of girls left for Montana Grand while I was at Grand Lodge, where we got to see Steve Martin installed as Grand Master. The weekend after that was Nevada Grand, which was so much fun. We played VR as a part of our side trip, and Nikki got so scared of the zombie game, she threw off her helmet and ran away. There's video proof. After Nevada was Grand Bethel and Grand Chapter. We felt so welcomed by the daughters during their session, and it was so cool to watch the Miss Washington pageant. Grand Chapter had the same theme as Grand Assembly, so we got to see a preview of what our sundown would look like in a couple weeks. All of that finally leads us right back here to Grand Assembly, where it all began, where it's all about to end, and where it will begin again for the next Grand Assembly. Grand Assembly has been more than I could ever dream of. And I am so grateful to the jurisdiction for all of the memories we've made. So Ollie, I'm about to be home a lot more. Thank you for letting me take the time to give my all to the Grand Assembly. Thank you.